Hello, everybody. My name is puCK, and today I have a very special replay. As you can see in the names, we have puCK versus a very good friend of mine. His name is SCS Coyote. SCS is StarCraft II strategy, if I recall. I'm not entirely sure what kind of team that is or if it is a team. But Coyote was an old teammate of mine, so I asked a lot of my old teammates if they want. They can send me replays against pros or semi-pros and I'd be happy to commentate and kind of go over them for the benefit of my own viewers and to get their names out there. So we do have a game versus puCK, as you may have heard of. puCK. puCK is a very, very, very good player. They do play very, very odd too, though. They like to do like warp prism type harass. They like to do all this like little cute stuff that you can do with Protoss. There's a lot of early aggression type stuff. They like to use TTs every now and again. But I think overall puCK's signature would probably be Warp Prism Harass. So that's something to look forward to. Coyote did mention a little bit about the game through email, and he said it's a late game composition that he's working for Zerg. So I definitely want to be emphasizing on that. But I do want to kind of give you guys a warning, is that I have no idea how to play Zerg or Protoss at anywhere near a level close to this. My Zerg and Protoss play is probably at a diamond level at best, and that's if I'm cheesing every game. So the understanding of the races isn't too well in this particular matchup, but I should be able to at least kind of dissect what's going on at the very minimum. We do see that it is on Star Station, which for those who may not know, this recently just started to be cross only. I don't think they played their game when it was, but I think yesterday, which would be May 17th, is when that went live. So that's something to keep in mind now. So it's something that could change the strategy on this particular map. We do see that Coyote went for a pull first. It's a very safe opening, and then he went for a hatch because if he went for hatch first, Protoss could easily cannon rush. So want to be a little bit worried about that. We see puCK scouting over here at the third for some reason. Um, I don't think he went actually to the natural of Coyote, and now he's going directly north. So, not sure exactly what's going on there, unless he's wanting to throw down a proxy of some sort. So we see no gas from Coyote now. It is being thrown down. Seems a little bit. I guess it's a probably good time. I'm trying to think. I don't really know exactly gas timings and stuff, so uh, not entirely certain what he wants to be doing there. But usually I see them getting it maybe a little bit after their pull, but you can delay it too just to get out a few more drones. You don't really need it anyways, I guess. So, oh well. Don't worry, I'm just an idiot giving my own little commentary on it. Okay, so we see that puCK threw down the Nexus, also has the cannon, went for looks like a Forge and then a Nexus, then threw down the cannon and the Cybercore, very safe opening. Cody's getting some information. Didn't go into the main. He's gonna lose this Zergling. No, okay, he did get into the main. Either way, these Zerglings are dead, but it is gonna get scouting information and kind of force puCK to micro his workers a little bit so that he doesn't lose any from the Zerglings. But the Zealot does come out at a very good time, and Coyote doesn't really get a whole lot of information. He gets to see the gas. Sees that the second gas is just now being thrown down, does see the gateway as well, and is checking for other type of information such as this gas and seeing, how many probes, maybe we can see some infrastructure as well. So I like those little Zergling run-bys to give them a lot of information that they normally wouldn't get. So we see that Coyote is going to throw down a third. I would imagine that's due to the second gas being a little bit late, it seems like. I mean, usually they get it a little bit earlier if they're going to do some type of all-in or some type of Stargate play. So, that's just a kind of reaction based off of that is what I would imagine. And we see that puCK is getting Warp Gate tech, no +1 yet. I mean, doesn't really need it right now. He is getting it there. Throwing down a Stalker as well. And getting a Evolution Chamber here for Coyote. So he's just getting one Evolution Chamber. That's, fine. We'll see if he's going to be going for... I've seen a lot of Zergs actually going for, Ling Baneling Muta right now against Protoss because Mutas got buffed, so they like to use Mutas really, really early on, so they just use Lings and Banelings until then. But we do see Coyote is throwing down a Roach Warren, so we'll see what kind of composition he's going for. I'm not entirely certain in HOTS what the new ZvP kind of composition is. I know that there's been some play with Swarm Host recently, which seems to be working quite well. I don't know who popularized that, but I think it happened just these past few weeks. So we do see an Overlord going in here trying to get some more scouting information. It's going to see the Stargate and Robo facility. I'm not entirely certain what puCK plans on doing with both the robotics facility and the Stargate, unless they're just going for a quick observer. Or maybe just some immortal support, but using the Stargate for like some Phoenix harass of some sort. Seems like a lot of gas though on two base. Actually going for Void Rays. Okay, this is quite odd. I haven't seen anything like this before. Coyote still doesn't have his gas at his main, but he does have the gases at his natural. He doesn't quite have all of his gases, doesn't need it yet. So he's just sitting there on minerals right now and just droning up really, really hardcore. Harvester-wise, it's 49 to 55. No harvesters killed for either unit or for either player. And now puCK's throwing down a lot of gateways, so this seems to be like a very, very heavy two-base aggression type play. It's going up to a total of, I don't even know how much. It's, what, 5 right there? And then he has one over here, so 6 gates total? Yeah. And then a Stargate with a robotics facility. That's actually a lot of infrastructure to support off 2 bases. So the Void Ray going around here, either to hide it or just to look for Overlords to try and kill those. I'd imagine that he's looking for Overlords though. So we see that Coyote's trying to take the Zelnaga. It did get met up with that Zealot over there. He's gonna do like a little bit of a run by to the natural. And he's not gonna like go in or anything, he's not gonna be able to, but he is gonna get some information to see if he's getting a forge. Oh wow, he did get in. Wow, okay, nice. So Coyote does get in, sees the Stargate and robotics facility, but he saw that with his Overlord earlier. He is gonna see the robotics bay now. He's gonna see the Oracle being thrown down as well. So he can kind of prepare for some type of Oracle harassment, either by getting queens or by getting some spores. He does see the Void right now with his roaches, so this is some weird pressure. I mean, it's like a going Stargate for Oracles and Void Ray harassment, and then just switching into Colossus. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I like it. It kind of throws them off guard. We don't see any spores being thrown down, which is a little bit weird. But I guess he doesn't want to overcommit to the Oracles. He feels like he can probably hold it off with Queens, which is likely true. So we see +2 weapons on the way for Coyote. He does have speed done for roaches now. And puCK is throwing down a pylon, which kind of is like a little bit of an indicator that he might be thinking about taking a third, but he does know that the roaches are pushing, so he's not going to take the third quite yet. So we see that Oracle on the way. Spent that energy, actually. Oh, okay, he got the Envision for it. That's kind of weird. Huh. I haven't seen anybody do this before. This is neat. I mean, it's neat little stuff, so... Anyways, we see that there might be an engagement here. puCK trying to get some force fields on the roaches, but unfortunately not able to. And we see that 4 Zealots are in a Warp Prism about to harass Coyote's base. Coyote doesn't really have anything here yet. Looking at the production, he's actually droning up, making no roaches yet. So now he does see it. He is going to lose that queen, which is always really, really annoying. He is pulling back these roaches now, and puCK is going to be throwing down a third. So the queen's targeting the oracles like they should. He shouldn't lose his base. These roaches should be able to get back in time, but it is getting quite low on health, but he does have a lot of energy for transfuse as well, so he should be okay if he transfuses the base. And just managing to hold that base off. Unfortunately, the Warp Prism is still alive. There is 1 Zealot in there, but it is on red health. But when the Warp Prism and the Oracle are alive, it's just still very, very annoying. So you see Coyote trying to get these Oracles and stuff, because killing those off is very, very, very important. Coyote does have a lot of Queens, which I'm guessing was for the Stargate, which is good. Very, very good. Allows him to have backup Queens to inject whenever he loses those, and he can deal with this type of pressure, especially with the Warp Prism. But this is just a very weird composition. It's like Sentry Immortal with some Void Rays mixed in. There was some Oracle Harass for Envision, which was kind of cute. And yeah, I mean, also going up to Colossus as well. It's just like kind of like a mixture of everything, just about. So we see Coyote sending a roach out to kind of be like a little bit of a spotter to detect, around here. But he does have this Zelnaga, so maybe it was just the misrally or something. So we see that puCK is 1-1, but they only have the shields. They don't actually have armor, which is kind of weird. But Coyote's sitting on 2-0, so having a little bit of an upgrade advantage, but I think puCK has a big enough army to be able to thwart this back. Decent force fields, not trapping anything, but kind of cutting the roaches off so that they can't all hit. And we do see some harassment over here at this natural again that I missed, unfortunately, but I was focusing on the main engagement. puCK's third is up and running now. Let's look at the harvesters. We have 66 to 67, so pretty even in terms of harvesters. But we do see Coyote having a fourth and now starting to drone up once again, sitting at about 72. So, I mean, they're still pretty identical in terms of income. So I like what Coyote's doing here, splitting up his roaches into two different sections so he can do some type of like flank around this army, which could be very, very beneficial. These flanks are really, really cute because of force fields. You want them to be trying to force field the whole area rather than just like one little group of units. So this little flank that he's doing is very, very, very cool. And he's hitting at the third now. Oh, the roaches actually just went into the main. Oh my god. Wow, sick. Okay, so he's going straight into the main. He's going to try and kill off this Colossus. Might be able to get the natural. The Colossus is going to fall. The natural is going to go down as well, it looks like. That was very, very cool. The third may go down. I think puCK's going to be able to save it. It's very close, though, but it looks like it's going to get cleaned up just in the nick of time. 63 HP. Did get the natural. And I guess got a little bit more information. Did he see the Templar Archives? Yeah, he did. So right now he's going up to Vipers, 6 Vipers, and then a lot of Roaches. Vipers are very, very beneficial for Zerg. They have the ability to abduct, to pull the units towards them, so that he can use the Vipers to abduct these Colossus and pull them right into the Roach Fire and kill off the Colossus. Also, he has the ability to Blinding Cloud to make everything shoot within a melee range, so these all run up to the Roaches as close as they can possibly get. So Vipers are a very, very good decision, I feel like, for Coyote here, just to deal with this kind of army. And you see, Coyote's army is starting just to gradually become bigger and bigger. You see the supplies, he's already actually at max, while puCK is only sitting at 177 supply. You see a good amount of queens, too. I'm guessing a lot of that is for transfuse. He did make them early on for the Stargate units, and now he has them for transfuse capabilities. There isn't really any heavy armored units. I mean, roaches would be good to transfuse. Um, But this is going to be kind of hard for him to control if you think about it, because he has a caster here, the Vipers, and then if he's wanting to transfuse, he's going to have to use the another hotkey for that. So he's going to have 3 different just for the spellcasters, one for queens, one for Vipers, one for infestors, and then he has his roach army. Looks like he did a little bit of a trade over here at the third to try and snipe it off. Unfortunately, was not able to. Those queens destroying that oracle, but he's trading off his roaches every now and again, just trying to get some more supply, I'm guessing, into a different type of unit. I'm not entirely certain which unit he's going up to. It looks like he's getting a Greater Spire, which could indicate maybe some type of Broodlord play if he went for Corruptors, but I don't see any Corruptors out on the field yet. So he did manage to snipe off that third, which is very, very awesome. Delaying puCK's mining, delaying any Protoss's mining is very, very nice to do. Delaying them from getting their gas and disallowing them from getting these high-tech units like the Colossus and High Templar. It's just very, very good to do, and it's very annoying. It costs them 400 minerals. You can see puCK doesn't really have the minerals to keep doing that over and over, considering he lost his third and his fourth, and at one point a natural. So the main is completely mined out. Right now he's just kind of mining on one base, which is awesome for Coyote. So we see here, puCK's going for this little bit of a counter. We do have a lot of infestors. The queens are out now as well. The roaches are coming in to fight. The Viper's coming in. There is a good fungal landing down. The Viper's coming in. I'm not sure what spell they're using. I didn't see, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like that Coyote's actually going to be able to... Well, I don't know. It looked like he was about to be able to powerhouse his way through, but you see the supplies are slowly dwindling. But there are some invested Terran being thrown down. All the Colossus, but one falls. A lot of the Stargate units, and now he's just sitting on Gateway units, which the Protoss Gateway units are just not very good. We have a Niduswarm being thrown down over here as well. I don't know. This looks really, really close. I mean, I thought Coyote is going to be able to do a lot more damage than he did, but it just seems like the Protoss army was too strong to be able to do with that. So he's throwing down some Niduswarms as well, so he can have he can kind of maneuver between his bases and defend them a little bit easier. That's very, very cute stuff by Coyote. I really enjoy that. So we do see a lot of infestors, so a lot of queens still alive, but not really a whole lot of roaches, or not really a whole lot of DPS type units. Like, he does have a few roaches, he is making some more, but as for right now, he doesn't have anything that could really kill that. He has a lot of spellcasters that could help, but yeah, I mean, overall, I don't think he has enough DPS to be able to kill this army quite yet. He needs more roaches, and that is what he's working on right now. So we do see some lings being sent over, trying to do some type of counter. Going to try and kill off these probes here. Throwing off some infested Terrans to, I guess, get some scouting information and see exactly where the army is and where it's positioned. I don't think Coyote's going to want to fight here. This army looks to be a little bit too big. But you see, again, puCK's money is just really, really low, and Coyote's just taking all of these bases over here. Still doing some harassment over here at these proxy pylons, forcing in some warpins of zealots and killing them off too. That's what's fantastic about it. He's also like just forcing any warpins where they're losing it immediately too, so that he can't reinforce with this army is just fantastic for Coyote. So Coyote coming over here to the looks like the fourth base, trying to do as much damage as he can. Unfortunately, not able to do a whole lot. There's a lot of stalkers over here. Getting another Nidus Swarm. I really enjoy this. By putting these Nidus Swarms down, it really allows him to kind of maneuver around the bases as much as he needs to, so that the Protoss can't just hit here. It's basically his own little recall ability. It's very cool. We have a Nidus Swarm being thrown down at the natural of puCK. We'll see if puCK realizes this or not. Doesn't look like it. Going to be pushing towards the fourth. Seeing that the main army is there, doesn't really realize that there's a Nidus Swarm being thrown down at the natural right now. So the Nidus Swarm does complete. There are only 4 drones inside of it, so unfortunately not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage, and puCK does realize this now. And it looks like Coyote's throwing down a another Nidus Swarm around the middle so he can keep reinforcing and maneuvering his army. And he's throwing down some changelings as well. The Nidus Swarm is going to go down. But it did force puCK's army to pull back, at the very least. That's what's really awesome, is like it allowed Coyote to kind of max himself out on a composition that he wants, and then, yeah, I mean, and puCK had to pull back to deal with the Nidus. Coyote's still trying to be annoying over here with the pylons. Not able to do a whole lot, getting thwarted back by the main army of puCK. So we see, again, Coyote has a lot of these roach mainly infestors in fact, but there aren't any vipers to help support this. So he is getting some good neural parasites, throwing down a lot of infested Terrans now. The roaches all do fall. I'm not sure exactly how this engagement looks like. It's going really poorly for Coyote. Getting a fungal and getting a neural on the, or a, what's it called? Yeah, neural parasite on the High Templar. The queens all do fall, though, almost losing all the infestors. There is some harassment over here at this base. I'm not entirely certain what exactly Coyote can do at this point to help kill off the composition that puCK has. I mean, some good neurals could help against the Colossus, but that stalker count is really high. It'll be able to kill off all of the infestors almost instantaneously, but we do have 14 corruptors on the way. The Vipers are still alive. He was just, I'm guessing, maintaining the energy for that. We're trying to obtain the energy to have more abilities to use for the Vipers. But now we do see some Broodlords being morphed in, so going for the old Broodlord type of composition. Broodlords are also very strong units. So he's going for Infestor Broodlord Viper, which is a pretty solid composition when you think about it. Like, theoretically, it seems very strong, but the problem is that the Vipers and the Infestors are going to be kind of hard to control. So it's just going to come down to control, but at the same time, I mean, puCK's army is very strong, sitting at a whopping 200 supply. Upgrades are going up to getting the air armor as well, getting some shields. Doesn't have armor quite yet. I'm guessing they don't really need it, but I'm not entirely certain in the way that matchup works. Coyote doesn't actually have +3 for either any of his upgrades, actually. He only has +2 range upgrade right now. But considering the fact that he's going for Vipers, Broodlords, and Infestors, he doesn't actually even need upgrades really all that much. I mean, other than the air upgrades more than anything, which he is getting the flyer armor upgrade. So Coyote is going to lose these bases over here. Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot he can do to help support that. That was a weird little animation there.
not really a whole lot he can do. He's actually very, very immobile right now. Even though he had the Nidus Swarms to help defend with his like roaches and such, he doesn't actually have any roaches. All he has is Broodlords, Vipers, and Infestors, which is very slow. So we see a really good fungal landing now for Coyote, trapping a lot of those Colossus. Good abducts as well, pulling the Colossus as close as he can so that he can kill them off with the Broodlords. This composition is just really, really sick. Killing off all the Colossus. The Broodlord's going to be pushing towards this base here, the 5th base of puCK. And delaying the mining over here, he's going to start drying out pretty shortly here. He has a lot of probes here. Getting another 9 is going to retake this base. He did dry out at the naturals, so he only has 2 bases mining. This would have been his 3rd, but unfortunately going to lose it. We do see some Tempests on the way, which is a very good decision considering there are Broodlords out on the field. Looks like there's a little bit of a zealot harassment going on over here at this base, but Coyote does have some static defense now to help deal with that. A lot of spine crawlers, and he did make some links to do some counters to try and annoy puCK a little bit and get his army out of position for force some warpins elsewhere. So I like that decision by Coyote, getting these links to just kind of be a nuisance to force him to kind of split up his army while he does a lot of damage over here with his main army. A lot of Broodlords are out on the field, getting in some roaches as well. The Tempests are going to do some damage. The Viper's abducting them, but I don't know what he has exactly to help deal with that other than infested Terrans. Not really a whole lot of AA, but he does have a Neural on the Tempest, so the Tempest is going to shoot down the other Tempest. Very sick stuff. Another abduct, getting another Neural Parasite as well to be able to kill off that Tempest. Very sick stuff. Infestors, very, very strong units. We do see some Dark Templar being morphed in as well as some Zealots to this base, but it is not mining, so he can kind of sacrifice it. He is going to lose the larva from it, but he doesn't, doesn't really need it at this point. It's okay for him. So he's pushing towards this 3rd base now, gonna just completely demolish puCK's mining, and puCK has nothing to really engage this. Has no real anti-air other than Stalkers. He is getting some Tempests out, but these Vipers and Infestors have proven to be very, very effective, considering there is also some Queens to help support with that as well. Another Abduct going down. Is he going to be able to neural? Ooh, good high Storm right there. Silent Storm being landed on the army. But another abduct. Oh, all of the Tempests have been abducted, and now they are being targeted down by the Queens and the infested Terran. But the Broodlords are kind of slowly dwindling, and they're very, very expensive units. But we have to remember, Coyote does have a 3k bank, now spending that on Corruptors so that he has some AA. So the Corruptors will be coming out and will be able to push back the Tempest, but the Tempests are going to fall shortly with this infested Terran and abducts. Very sick stuff by Coyote. This seems to be a very, very, very strong composition. Bringing back Infestor Broodlord just by giving it in some more support with Vipers and Queens. This seems to be very, very sick. So the Broodlords are going to be pushing forward now to the natural and the main, killing off the tech of puCK. puCK doesn't really have an army that can fight this. Again, a lot of Stalkers, but that's pretty much all he has to deal with these Broodlords, and considering there are Infestors out on the field, he could also Blinding Cloud all of these Stalkers, maybe. That could possibly help. I'm not entirely certain though. So the Broodlords are going to all fall, but we got to remember puCK is completely gone with money. Has no money available at this point, and Coyote does have 2k, 1k. That being said, he has this base as well, actually. He has a lot of mining bases. He can kind of remax on whatever he needs to remax on. Looks like he's thinking about what he needs to remax on, not quite making anything yet. puCK is going to try and do this push here. Now, the thing is, I don't exactly know what composition that Coyote has. 7 Infestors, 3 Vipers, but only 9 Roaches. So these Stalkers could prove to be quite effective to Coyote's army. He does need to be remaking some stuff, and he's actually going to go up to 14 Broodlords. Okay, so yeah, he'll be completely fine. Now look at that, using the Nidus Swarm to get the drones in to save them, because he is going to lose the base, so might as well save all of the drones so he doesn't have to remake that. That's very, very smart stuff. Going to start saturating over here, it looks like. So very, very cute stuff. I really enjoy that Nidus Swarm play. So we see, again, Coyote has another one of these really, really tough armies. Now, the thing is, Coyote does not actually have a whole lot of gas. He is starting to mine out of these and take another base, but he doesn't have a whole lot of gas. He can only remake on leagues at this point because of the lack of gas that he has. But once he starts mining from this base, and then he's going to be able to get this base again and start mining gas from it, he might be able to start remaking on... He started on a Hydralisk then, so he'll be able to make his gas units once again. But as of right now, he can't really lose this army. Because it's very, very heavy on gas, and he's not going to be able to remake it again. So We do have some roaches being pushed over here to the pylons to try and deal with that. Very good stuff. He's been trying to do that all game, but unfortunately being pushed back, so not doing a whole lot. But the High Templar were out of position here for puCK, so puCK is going to lose two of the High Templar, only one of them remaining, which is very, very poor. He cannot remake these, and the High Templar are kind of one of the most important units for his composition right now. The ability to storm the army or feedback the infestors is just so important. Um, so we see that puCK is being pushed back to these pylons, kind of stuck over here into a little bit of a choke. I mean, not being able to split his army up where he wants it, but where you do see three High Templar out, and he's going to be able to push back. But I mean, I don't really know if puCK's going to be able to do a whole lot. Has no money, only sitting at 84 supply into the Coyote's 150. Now, again, like I said, Coyote can't really remake this army right now. So he has to be very, very careful with it. He has to be watching it at all times. But as he starts to get these bases and starts to get this gas saturated, then this army becomes a little bit more expendable. But it's really not. I mean, it is a very, very expensive army. We do see this, the Stalkers blinking on top of the Broodlords, but a lot of Infested Terran being thrown down. Too many Broodlords to really be able to do a whole lot. You see all the Broodlings doing so much damage to these Stalkers. And you gotta remember, they don't have armor either. I mean, I don't think that's a huge deal, but we do see the Infested Terran. The Infestors actually trying to burrow and get away, but unfortunately being caught by the Colossus and the Stalkers. So he is going to lose all of his Infestors at that point, so he doesn't really have a whole lot of AA, if he doesn't actually have any. So some Tempest would be good, but again, puCK has no money, no bases, no money to take the bases, so at this point, it's kind of into a point where puCK has to kill off all the Broodlords, but he doesn't have enough Stalkers to be able to do this. There is a Void Ray out, but we do have 3 Queens by Coyote. Coyote can be using those. He can use those Queens to help kill off the Void Rays, but yeah, he has to kill off the Void Rays because there's nothing he can do to help kill those right now at this point. The Stalkers are blinking forward, trying to kill off the Broodlords. I like what Coyote is doing, putting his Queens into the Nidus so that he can keep those alive as long as possible to help kill off this Void Ray. But the Stalker count is getting slower and is getting lower and lower, not slower and slower. There is still some Psionic Storm. The Broodlords are a little bit extended. There are some in the main dying to the Void Rays, and then these ones don't really have a whole lot of support. But there are enough of Broodlords where he can keep fighting that army back. And we do see a ton of Roaches on the way for Coyote as well. He is now getting into that base over there, starting to get the gas over here. I would like to see him retake this base and maybe these ones over here. I mean, he has the money to do it, but he wants to make sure he's safe to do it before he starts doing that. Now he is targeting all of the High Templar. Now he's getting the Colossus with these Roaches, and puCK leaves no GG. That was a very, very good game by Coyote. Very well played. That was just a very good demonstration of late game ZvP. I mean, Coyote had a composition that puCK really couldn't beat with the army that he had. He had a lot of Stalkers and Colossus, and the army that Coyote had, considering the Colossus count of puCK, I mean, and the lack of High Templar, like, and lack of, like Phoenix, and Tempest and stuff like that, because puCK didn't really know his composition, it didn't seem. He was kind of thrown off guard by the Broodlord Infestor Viper. And even though he had Tempest with the Abduct and Neural Parasite, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot that puCK could really do. He needed a higher Tempest count. So, overall, I mean, this seems really, really strong. It is quote unquote weak. Like if there are Tempests, a lot of Tempests out on the field. I mean, the puCK, or it seems like Coyote just barely got by for a second, but then kind of powerhoused his way through it near the end because he killed off a lot of bases. Like I think if Coyote didn't kill off the bases of puCK, this game would have definitely went differently. But that's saying what if. So I think this composition seems really strong. But there is a lot of ways that Protoss can deal with it, mainly just by getting some AA, because there was no Corruptors, only Infestors, and they can run out of energy eventually. So, very sick stuff though, Coyote. Thank you very much for the replay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry that my knowledge is kind of crappy, so I made probably a lot of wrong calls, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. My name is puCK, signing off.